What's going on, everyone? So I'm gonna be continuing my Souls tier list series here with Elden Ring. So let's just get started here. And all right, the first boss we have here is Flying Dragon Egg Now I really do like Egg moveset, but it is just fucking repeated ad nauseum throughout the entirety of Elden Ring with quite a few different bosses here. So Ahil himself, I'll throw on C tier. It's a pretty okay dragon fight, but you know, it is what it is. So alright, Leonin Misbegotten. I like this fight. This is a B tier fight, but it's another one of the ones that's been kind of repeated ad nauseum, but I think it deserves on where it is. Moving on to Margit the Fell Omen. This is the first real boss that most people fight. And I think it is a very high B tier, low A tier fight, but I'll leave it where it is right now. Very challenging moveset, but albeit very fair moveset. Alright, Godric the Grafted. Probably the most metal boss in the entire series, except for maybe Iron Golem in Dark Souls 1, because you know, it's an iron golem. But the fact that this guy here rips off his fucking arm and replaces it with a fucking dragon head, that's pretty fucking metal in my mind. Yeah, I love fighting Godric, and his cutscene is one of my favorites. So yeah. All right, moving on to Red Wolf of Radagon. Cool moveset. I don't think the boss has enough health to make it really a rememberable boss fight. This guy could really benefit from probably almost double the health, but you know, I'm gonna, as the boss stands right now, I'll place it where it is, and that is a middle to low B tier. And all right, moving on. Renala, Queen of the Full Moon. That goes kind of after Margit. I don't like when bosses summon additional enemies to help them. But man, Renala's moveset is just so cool, and the arena is so cool. Where I think I can justifiably give it a B tier. Anyway, so moving on to Crucible Knight and Misbegotten Warrior. That is a D tier fight to me. It's just the golden standard for gang fights is Ornstein and Smo from Dark Souls 1, and this one doesn't even come close to that. You have two, I mean, yeah, I realize that, you know, the Crucible Knight doesn't come out until probably halfway through you're getting through the Misbegotten Warrior, but the fact that both of their movesets are, you know, relatively quick, you know, have a lot of, at least the Crucible Knight has a lot of defense. I don't think they complement each other that much, and I really feel like they're just kind of mashed together. It's like, oh, this might be challenging. So anyway, moving on. Dragonkin Soldier, probably the most fucking forgettable fight on this tier list here. That's a C tier fight. It's there. Not, as I said, not very fucking rememberable. So, all right, moving on to Regal Ancestral Spirit. It's slightly better than Dragon Kid Soldier. I hate the fact that they have two ancestral spirits in the game, because it kind of, I think if there was one, it'd be a lot more memorable. But again, kind of yeah, not a very memorable fight. Valiant Gargoyles. That's a top of D tier, but that's not much to be proud of. Valiant Gargoyles is another fucking shitty remake of the Bell Gargoyles from Dark Souls 1. And the fucking poison breath move that they have is fucking bullshit. And just not a fight that I think of when I think of Elden Ring again, but it's not, it's just not a good fight. I don't think there's very many people that really like Valiant Gargoyles. Anyway, moving on to Full Grown's Falling Star Beast. This is the one roughly at the top of Mount Gelnir, and it's definitely low. I'm gonna put it in a high D tier. Only reason why is I fucking hate this guy's moves because I've beaten every single one of these bosses on a solo playthrough. No summons, no whatever. This guy's moves are so big that it's really can be. They don't do a whole lot of damage, but they can be very difficult to dodge at times. So I think D tier is where this guy deserves. And just moving on here, Magma Worm Makar. I'm going to put him above Dragonkin Soldier, but below Regal Ancestral Spirit. Again, it's just kind of another Magma Worm fight with a little bit more mechanics, but overall, just pretty forgettable fight. But you do get the Bull Goat armor from him, or I guess technically after him when you do the invasion. But cool fight, but pretty forgettable. Okay, moving on to the Godskin Noble. Yep, that's another C tier fight. It's just a long boy here, and I mean, the fact that you fight him, I really fucking hate the Godskin duo, but Godskin Possible in and of himself is a fine fight. And right after him, Godskin Noble. I do like the Godskin Apostle more than I like the Godskin Noble, but not by much. Godskin Noble is just a wide boy, and he'll do that fucking bullshit rolling move on you when he gets roughly half health whenever he enters the second phase, but yeah, it's there. Whatever. Alright, Morgott the Omen King. I like Morgott more than I like Margit. But that dagger attack is a little weird, and depending on your build might make the fight a little easy because he just kind of stands there for a while, especially when he does that explosion bubbly move in the second phase. But yeah, it's there. Cool fight overall, but yeah, I mean, if you ever look the lore behind Morgott / Margit, really cool lore. So I'll leave that to you. And moving on, Rykard Lord of Blasphemy, probably the best fucking gimmick fight there is in all of Souls. Yeah, overall solid fight, and great fucking voice acting because together, and yeah, fantastic fight overall, I guess. Elmer of the Briar. That's a high B tier. I really like this guy's moveset. You are not safe at any distance from this guy. And yeah, the area that this guy is in is super fucking cool. And I highly recommend, if you haven't fought this guy yet, just probably look up where he is and go from that. But yeah, all right. Moving on. Star Scourge Rodan. Absolutely fantastic fight. One of the best in Elden Ring. I think there might be one fight better, but Rodan is just such a unique fight. I love the fact that you can summon a bunch of allies to help you, and that this whole moveset is so cinematic, especially in his second phase. But yeah, anyway, moving on. Mimic Tier. It's a B tier fight. I'd probably place Mimic Tier after Renala. Mimic Tier has probably one of the funniest fucking cheeses in the entire Souls franchise, where you just take off all your armor and just fucking punch him to get. I mean, he'll just try to beat you to death, and you just re-equip a weapon and just tear through him. But I just find that really a whole lot of fun. Um, maybe tier is probably not deserving of the spot, but fun boss overall. All right, Fia's Champions. That is a D tier boss that I actually find better than Valiant Gargoyles because you can just fucking cheese the shit out of him with the Elden Beast sword. Yeah, that's the only reason. It's just a fucking gang fight overall, but you have Lionel, the fat guy, I guess. Yeah, cool fight, but it's not good overall. So probably a little contradictory there, but who cares? Estelle, Natural Born in the Void. Probably the top of C tier, and the only reason I put Estelle there instead of higher is because he has a fucking duplicate, which I fucking hate. Estelle in and of himself is probably a B tier fight. Not the cool moveset, but I just honest God, guys, I just fucking hate that they duplicated him. Alright, let's Dragon Fortis. That is the fucking highest A tier I can give. Fortis is probably the most cinematic moveset that I can think of in Radan probably. Radan has a very cinematic moveset as well, but Fortis is just so cool. I mean, the aesthetics of the boss is, it's a black and red dragon. I mean, probably most of you don't know me too well, but black and red are my two favorite color combinations. So yeah, Fortis is fucking badass. I fucking love this fight. Anyway, moving on here. Commander Niall. I'll put him at top of B tier, and the only reason why is he fucking ads that he spawns at the beginning fucking suck. If you did not have those ads there, and maybe multiplied your health by like 1.5, that guy would be fucking A tier. His actual moveset is fucking fantastic. Yeah, I mean, not a whole much I can say about this guy. If you haven't fought him, on solo melee only. This guy's moveset, I fucking love this guy's moveset. It's so cool. All right, Fire Giant, the only fucking E tier fight in Elden Ring. I fucking hate Fire Giant. It has a lot of health, which I respect, and has an absolutely fantastic cutscene, which I respect. But the fact that this guy just, one, he does a lot of damage overall, and it's not an overly hard fight, but the fact that this guy just kind of wastes your time by rolling around everywhere gives me enough reason to fucking put him in E tier. I do not like this guy. I just more or less see him as an obstacle. All right. Speaking as an obstacle, Godskin Duo. Yeah, it's fucking bottom of D tier to me. It's just a shitty fucking Ornstein and Smo. Like, I realize where FromSoft is trying to do in their, I get their design choices of Godskin Duo, and where they're trying to replicate roughly Ornstein and Smo, but that's not fucking Ornstein and Smo. It's just a fucking shitty boss. And now what is not a shitty boss is our next entry, Malekith, the Black Blade. Super fucking challenging moveset, super difficult boss, but an absolutely fantastic and fair boss at the same time. Yeah. Alright. Yeah, Malekith I can really just not speak highly enough of. But moving on to Dragon Lord Placidusax. Um, I'll put him after Fortisax. Only reason why is I've heard. Well, all in all, I think Fortisax is a more solid fight. But I've also heard a lot of people say that, like, Placiduous Sax is the best dragon boss in all of Souls. But I think Madeir is fucking way better because, I mean, just both Fortisax, Placiduous Sax, any dragon boss in here. I mean, you can just, for the most part, get by just toenail clipping them or just attack their feet. But Placiduous Sax is so cool. And one of my hopes for the inevitable DLC that comes out for this game is fight this guy with all four of his heads. All right, so Sir Gideon Ofnir, the All-Knowing. Yeah, I think it's a D tier fight. I do not like this guy. I think this guy's whole mechanics, where if you beat, certain bosses, he'll add those bosses to his move set, is pretty interesting. But just overall, I had probably way too fucking much trouble beating this guy when I was doing it on my my melee only build. No summons. I just don't like this guy at all. Yeah, shit fucking boss. And what is not shit is our next entry, Godfrey First Elden Lord. I'm gonna put this guy at the top of A tier, borderline S tier. Godfrey to me is just a rhythm fight overall. Um, but it is just such a cool fight. And if you haven't fought Godfrey, or if you haven't progressed that far in Elden Ring to fight him, do yourself a favor, turn off your summons, and go fight this guy. It's just a fucking blast through and through. Now, Horaloo, on the other hand, is also a fantastic fight and also deserving of A tier, but way more aggressive. Regardless, cool boss overall, and it's one of my favorites here. Okay, now we have the fucking hardest to place boss in this entire game, because there's two of them that deserve widely different rankings. Radagon and Elden Beast. I'm going to put Radagon and Elden Beast for combining the two at the top of B tier. Now, Radagon is an S tier fight. I love that fight. It's one of my favorites in the entire game, but I cannot say the same for Elden Beast. Elden Beast is probably a D tier fight. So I think it's fair to put them at the top of B tier. Purely because, and we're kind of averaging them out, both of the fights are very cinematic. The fact that all fucking Elden Beast does is hit you a couple times and then run the fuck away, is not very fun. Alright, here we go. Mohg, Lord of Blood. I love Mohg. I think it's not as good as Godfrey, but it's pretty goddamn close. The only reason Mohg is not S tier is because of that constant blood flame splatter in the second phase of him. And I love his second phase, but it's just so easy to get caught on that fire shit that he spews on the ground. I mean, that's the fantastic, absolutely fantastic boss overall there. Definitely one of the ones I love fighting. Loretta, Knight of the Haligtree. And I think they actually spelled it wrong here, but yeah, I think uh, yeah, I think upper C tier is where this fight belongs. Pure reason why is because it's an honorary reskin of the Tree Sentinel, which I don't like. It even plays the same music when you fight her, but overall, just it's an okay fight. It's a fun fight to do, but it's just more of an obstacle than anything. It's not a fight that most people look forward to fighting. So, okay, moving on to Melania, Blade of Mikola. Yeah, that is my favorite fight in the game and one of my favorite fights in all of Souls. The water. I'll be the first to admit the waterfall dance ability is a little bullshit, but I actually really appreciate it as an extreme obstacle to overcome. And Melania probably has once you beat her, if you're doing her, no summons, melee only. It's probably one of the most excited I've been on beating a boss. A very, very, very challenging boss. One of the hardest in all of Souls. But just an absolutely fantastic boss through and through. And with that being said, hope you all have a good day, night, wherever the fuck you are. And that's it. Later.